Sometimes when this stage hits, it's not that we feel lost, it's that we don't quite recognize ourselves anymore. What once lit us up now seems to have lost its sparkle. And no, you're not overreacting or fading into invisibility. There's a clear before and after that no one really explains. Everything shifts. Your body, your emotions, even the closest relationships. But in the middle of all the noise, expectations and demands, so many women forget something essential, themselves. And if you've made it here, it's because deep down, you sense there's still so much left to discover within you. What hardly anyone says out loud is that well-being during menopause isn't just about hormones or miracle supplements. It runs deeper. It's about asking yourself, what do I need today to feel good in my own skin? Society sells you the idea that you've got to stay young to stay valuable, but your true power isn't in appearances, it's in showing up for yourself fully and honestly. The mirror might not always reflect your strength, but your energy does, when you're aligned with what you feel, with what you want, and with the choice to take care of you. And here's the thing. This isn't about ticking off a checklist of new habits or forcing yourself into a perfect routine. It's more of a quiet connection, a gentle but deep shift where you start prioritizing what truly nourishes you. From the way you speak to yourself each morning to the way you choose your daily battles. Well-being doesn't always show on the outside, but you'll feel it clearly when you sleep better, breathe without heaviness, and no longer need outside approval to know you're doing what's right for you. If something inside you has been asking for attention, don't ignore it. That discomfort you can't quite put into words, it might be your soul asking for more space, more calm, more truth. Listen. Because if there's one thing we learn when crossing this threshold called menopause, it's that postponing yourself is no longer an option. Not because time's running out, but because you deserve it. Now, without conditions. Now that we're talking about reconnecting with yourself, it's just as important to understand how your environment affects that sense of well-being. It's not only about what you eat or how much you move, it's also about what surrounds you. Sounds, words, stimuli, people. Have you noticed how certain conversations drain you more than a bad night's sleep? Or how a chaotic room unsettles you more than an unhealthy meal? Your environment matters. The energy of your home, your routines, and your relationships has a direct impact on your inner balance. That's why creating kind spaces, reducing mental noise and surrounding yourself with what brings you peace isn't indulgence, it's self-care. One of the most powerful shifts many women experience during this stage is a deep craving for authenticity. There's no more time for pretending, for fitting in, or maintaining connections that leave you drained. In fact, a huge part of the anxiety that creeps in during menopause isn't about hormones. It comes from everything you've been silencing for years. That's why it feels so freeing to finally say what you think, even if your voice shakes. Every time you choose yourself, you gain inner ground. And physically, that translates into deeper rest, less inflammation, and more energy. Let's also talk about the body, because at this stage, it often becomes a target for inner criticism. Many of us struggle to accept changes in our skin, belly, or shape. But maybe what hurts the most isn't the mirror. It's the old expectations we've been carrying since we were young, the ones that told us we were worth more if we were thin, soft, invisible, compliant. Now is the time to question those ideas. Your body isn't broken or falling apart. It's doing an incredible job adapting, and it needs you to stop treating it like the enemy. Start speaking to it with kindness, thanking it for everything it carries for you each day. That shift in your inner dialogue transforms more than any cream or exercise ever could. Another forgotten piece in this well-being puzzle is pleasure. Not just sexual pleasure, though that too, but the joy of eating without guilt, laughing loudly, doing nothing without feeling bad about it. During menopause, many women lose interest in sexuality, not because they no longer desire, but because they feel disconnected from their own bodies. Reclaiming pleasure is a revolutionary act, and it doesn't have to involve a partner. It can start with a mindful bath, a walk in the sun, or simply resting without rush. Reconnecting with what brings you joy awakens your vital energy. And yes, it also helps regulate your hormones more effectively. What about movement? For years we've been told to exercise to lose weight, but now the focus shifts. Move to feel good, not to punish yourself. Maybe running no longer appeals to you, but dancing fills you with life. Maybe a silent walk reconnects you more than a high-intensity workout. What matters is moving your body with joy, not obligation. And finally, a topic hardly anyone talks about: grief. During this stage, many women face quiet losses that often go unrecognized. The end of fertility, the empty nest, changes in a relationship, friendships that fade away. These are goodbyes that hurt, even if there's no ceremony. Allowing yourself to cry, to pause, or simply to name those emotions is also part of healing. Denying them only deepens the discomfort, but going through them with awareness opens space for new chapters, new passions, new ways of being in the world. So if this stage teaches you anything, let it be this: you're not broken, you're not alone, and you're not late. You're exactly where you need to be to come back to yourself. You no longer need to tick every box or be perfect to deserve rest, joy, or pleasure. Your body isn't failing you, it's speaking to you. And your soul, even when it feels dim, still holds a fire waiting to be reignited. All it needs is your permission. Because this stage, even with its challenges, can be the beginning of one of the most authentic and powerful versions of you. A woman who chooses herself, listens to herself, and honors herself. And if you ever forget that, come back to this space, to this tribe, to these words. You're not alone. We're all going through it, learning, falling, rising again. But most of all, remembering there is still so much left to feel, to enjoy, to become.